morning and welcome to the start of this BMW M2 review. A few weeks ago, well not a few weeks, last week, Max was at the Hungaroring to test drive the BMW M2 on the track, and unfortunately I couldn't be there. So I got on the phone, I called BMW and I said, give me an M2, only cooler. And they did. This is the BMW M2 M Performance. So it has all these lovely M Performance parts, like this carbon spoiler, these stickers, the rims. Here, this looks really cool. This fin, or whatever it's called, it looks really amazing. Carbon fiber spoiler, a carbon fiber diffuser, and the party piece, the M Performance exhaust, which you'll hear is insane. Well, this car is the successor to the BMW 1M, which I think is the best M of the last decade. And well, how was the 1M created? It's an idea by some engineers who in their spare time took a 1 Series coupe and put on some parts from the E92 M3, like the front axle, rear axle, the engine from a 35i, and just tweaked it a bit. And it became a production car, and it was this low and wide, easy to drive, and well, simplistic to drive. It was just a basic BMW M recipe. A small, wide car, a 6-cylinder in the front, a manual shifter, and well, maybe less is more because it's the coolest car they made ever since. This is its successor, and it sure has the looks. It looks low and looks wide, but it's not as convincing and cool as the BMW 1M, I have to say, even though this is equipped with those fabulous M Performance parts. The normal BMW M2 without the exhaust and the rear diffuser looks a bit less fat and wide than this one. The M Performance exhaust. Let's see what it sounds like, because it has a surprise up its sleeve. As you can see, it has a, as you can hear, I have this little device, and as you can hear, it already sounds pretty good. So, this device, let's hear it. It's pretty raw. This device, M Performance Cool, I'm going to destroy the world button, has a sport mode, which it is in right now, and a track mode, and you can only use it on the track. Well, so this label says, but I think they put this label on so it can get through all the testing authorities. As you can see, double click for track mode. So it gets a deeper sound because the valve's open, and it's really cool. I hope you can hear this. Well, I bet you do. Okay, let's see what it's like to drive. So this is my second day testing this BMW, and yesterday I asked you to comment on our previous video of this car, our little intro, and I asked you to ask questions about this car, and so you did. So further on in the review I will answer all your questions, because there were a lot of them. I'm just going to keep it in track mode, the exhaust, because it's cooler. And you hear all these nice little bangs and crackles, and I like it. Okay, currently I'm in comfort mode. The M2 has 3 settings. Normally you get like 5, but this has 3. Comfort, Sport and Sport Plus. So in Sport the exhaust gets even louder because of the software. So it gets a little more fuel and a little more programmed sound, if you know what I mean. The weather is more suitable for an Audi RS3, but well, with a short wheelbase, 370 HP, rear wheel drive car, it's going to be exciting, I think. So as I said, this car has the same recipe. It has the front axle and rear axle of a Bmw M3, and that's why it looks wide and low, and it's a very, very cool look. It's like a bodybuilder wearing a tiny suit. Okay, some tunnel sounds. Twitchy. So as you can see, because of the short wheelbase, the back really snaps out really quick, which also makes it really fun, because when you look at its competitors, the Audi RS3, the Mercedes A45 AMG, they don't pop out their backs. If you put all the systems off, you really need to focus, because this car has so much mid-range power that even if you upshift in a corner, the torque in the next gear can be so high that it just kicks out the back even though you don't expect it. It's very uncommon for a car to do that. So you really need time with it to get to know it. And unlike the A45 and the RS3, you don't get in and just blast away and have fun. No, you really have to get acquainted. What I really love about this car, and I think it's the best thing about it, is the gearbox, the MDCT. It's very, very quick, responsive. It always does what it needs to do. It feels sharp. And frankly, a lot better than the S-tronic in the RS3, which isn't bad, but especially the A45's gearbox is a lot worse. So what about the sound? Well, with this M Performance exhaust, I can really compare it to the A45 and RS3 I drove, because both of them also had an optional sport exhaust, and the A45 is the loser because the sound doesn't come even near the M2 and the RS3. I personally love 5 cylinders, so it's kind of a personal thing. I think they both have tremendous sounds. You don't need an aftermarket exhaust, and I don't think there is an aftermarket exhaust that looks better than this BMW M Performance one, because it's made by a Krapovic, one of the best and most famous exhaust builders in the world. So you get these fabulous carbon pods over the tailpipes, and it's just eye candy. I know they are expensive because I drove the BMW M3 also with the M Performance exhaust, and it was like 5,000 euros. I don't have a price for this one because, well, I didn't get it and I couldn't find it on the internet. So if you can, please let me know. The suspension is very firm, even in comfort it's quite hard. And when I compare it to the M2 35i, that's a lot more, like a GT. It doesn't have the very dynamic setup like this one has, but it's a lot more comfortable and maybe a better daily driver. The sound in the interior is a bit artificial because you have some sound coming from the speakers, and it sits in between the M3 and the 35i engine, so you have a bit of both. For many it's very unclear how the MDCT launch control works, and I can't blame you, because BMW uses a different sequencing every time and it's very, very annoying. With some M cars you have to put it in this mode, and you have to hold the lever forward and just hit the throttle and then release it. Next time you have to put it in D and then put the traction control in MDM, and then you have to put it completely off with a different car. It's very, very, very confusing. So this one is a bit different as well. Again, this time you have to put it in manual mode, even though the automatic takes over. So let me just start how many of you would start. In comfort, in D, all the systems are on. Now it's in D. You have to put it in manual mode and put it in Sport Plus. You have to completely turn off the ESC or the DSC, whatever. And it slides about because it's very wet right now, but it's quite fast. I expected it to just pull to the side, but it got grip very early in this weather for a rear-wheel drive car. So when I just did the launch control, you saw the car pulling itself straight, and that's because of the M differential on this car. If you do this with a non-differential 135i or something like that, you would really just go sideways, hit a tree. And so this differential is not just for drifting. That's what everybody thinks. Oh, an M differential, you can really do all the cool drifts. You can, but it's also functional. It's for grip, even in these wet conditions. So yesterday I did the Autobahn run, I did some measurements, and to be honest, it's the biggest downside of this car. The speed, I was very disappointed by it. It's just a bit quicker than an M2 35i, and it's a lot less quick than an Audi RS3. So an M240i may be about as quick. I don't know, I will be driving it in the future, so we'll find out. But the straight line speed after 200, from 200 to 270, I tested it. It was kind of disappointing. So the BMW M2, how does it add up? I think it's not enough value in comparison to an M240i, because you do get nearly the same for a lot less, and it's a better daily driver than this M2. But this M2 is much more aggressive, and it's really for those who want to take it to a track, or just have a passion for M cars, which I can imagine. But if you buy this car for one of those reasons, if you go to the track with it, go for this amazing MDCT gearbox. If you drive it for the pleasure of driving, and if you just love M cars, then I think you should really get a manual, because then it really becomes the 1M that once was, because it's just an evolving driving machine. But even though the gearbox, this MDCT, is very good, it's not very involving and engaging and exciting. I think a manual would really make this a classic BMW M. A 6-cylinder in the front, short, wide, a manual shift. I think you would have an amazing car. And I think the competition doesn't offer what this car offers, because this really is a serious, exciting performance car. And the Audi RS3 and A45 AMGs, although they are both great cars, they are not engaging performance cars. So it has a kind of a monopoly in that area. So thanks a lot, and this is my way of saying goodbye.